The air in the small, rustic home hung heavy with an unspoken dread. Hang's mother paced, her worn hands clasped tight, her voice a thin tremor of disbelief and growing panic. What? How could I lose it all? If everything is gone, where will the money come from now? The whole house, it's all tied up. Her words were not directed at Hang, but at an invisible force, a cruel twist of fate that was slowly tightening its grip. Just days ago, her daughter, Hang, had urged a bold move. "Mom told me to invest a little," the mother mumbled, recalling the initial, cautious advice, then contrasting it with Hang's later, more insistent push. "You just told me to invest a lot. You said I had to hide it." "Hide it from your son. Don't tell me to sell the house." The memory was a sharp, painful jab. Her mind reeled, trapped in a cycle of worry and regret. "I'm so worried. If I had known, I wouldn't have listened to him. I wouldn't have listened to any of it." The him was big, a shifting target between the distant son, the enigmatic friend, and even, subtly, her own trusting nature. The village, with its rhythms of hard work and simple living, seemed to mock her sudden, overwhelming despair. The sun had been a warm companion just hours before, dappling through the leaves as Hang and her mother moved through their garden, a haven of humble sustenance. "Son, cut this root. It's beautiful, isn't it, my child?" the mother had said, her voice then filled with an easy affection as she guided Hang's movements. They were harvesting ginger, its knobby roots clinging to the earth, promising a modest return at the market. Each root dug was a small victory, a tangible reward for their toil. The soil, rich and dark, yielded its bounty slowly, demanding patience and effort. Hang moved with practiced ease, her calloused hands adept at the task. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and verdant growth, a perfume unique to their rural existence. They spoke in gentle murmurs, a symphony of familial connection. "Go to the other branch, my child." The mother pointed, her eyes scanning the plot with the wisdom of generations. These were not mere plants, they were their livelihood, their connection to the land that had sustained their family for centuries. The work was arduous, demanding early mornings and late evenings, but it was honest. It was predictable. It was real. "Mom will take this branch down for you to cut. Go to the base down there, my child. Take the bag and put it in the bag, then come up here and pour it into the basket. This fruit, my child." The fruit, small and vibrant, glistened with morning dew. Their movements were coordinated, a silent dance of shared labor. The mother, despite her age, moved with a surprising agility, her back strong from years of bending and lifting. Hang, her daughter, bore the weight of the harvest, her youthful strength a testament to the resilience of their lineage. The basket slowly filled, each fruit a tiny promise of a meal, a small income. This was their life, planting, nurturing, harvesting, selling. It was a cycle that knew no grand dreams of sudden wealth, only the steady, comforting rhythm of survival. They understood the language of the soil, the changing seasons, the subtle signs of nature's generosity or scarcity. The afternoon sun had grown hotter, but their work continued, driven by an ingrained sense of duty. "Cut this root. Go to the other base. Mom will pour the fruit into the basket. The basket is almost full. Too high, hard to get." The mother's voice, though tinged with effort, carried a cheerful note. There was satisfaction in the sight of a full basket, a tangible symbol of their productivity. The challenges were simple: a root too deep, a fruit too high. These were problems they knew how to solve, problems that yielded to perseverance. The rhythm of their work was a meditation, a balm against the anxieties that often plagued their minds. The simple act of providing, of working the EARTH, grounded them. Suddenly, a shift in the sky. Dark clouds gathered, pregnant with rain. "Here, enough. Cut just a little more," If it's too full, the basket will fall off later. You peel and eat. It's raining again. You eat. The mother's concern shifted from the harvest to her daughter's comfort. A small, ripe fruit was offered, a gesture of maternal love and care. The first drops of rain began to fall, pattering softly on the leaves, washing the dust from their faces. Hang took the fruit, its sweetness a small comfort against the encroaching dampness. Is it delicious? The mother asked, her eyes gentle. There are too many fruits, my child. The others are too green. They had to be selective, choosing only the best, leaving the immature ones to ripen further. This was the lesson of the land: take what you need, but leave enough for tomorrow. The discussion then turned to the difficulty of reaching certain fruits. Those that were yellow like this, I can't get them. The other one is rotten, my children. It's too high and I can't reach it, so forget it, my child. It was a philosophy of acceptance, of knowing when to let go of what was unattainable. They understood that some things were simply beyond their grasp, and dwelling on them brought only frustration. I won't take any more, my child. This should be enough. How heavy is the baby? The question, simple and everyday, referred to the weight of the harvested bounty, but it carried an unconscious undercurrent of anticipation, a question about the weight of their current ventures. I wonder what the result will be today. I'm so impatiently waiting. The shift was subtle but significant. The tangible work of farming was fading into the background, overshadowed by the intangible, speculative gamble they had placed. Back in the small, dimly lit house, Hang sat alone, restless. The silence was punctuated only by the occasional creak of the wooden floorboards. Is it boring here? She muttered to herself, a hint of impatience in her voice. Her mind was a whirlwind of calculations and fantasies. She had tried to call her friend, Song, earlier, to get an update on their investment, but she couldn't. The uncertainty was both thrilling and terrifying. If I win big this time with my investment, I'll reward myself with a lot of motorbikes, buy land, and build a house. Her imagination painted vivid pictures of luxury, of freedom from the relentless toil. The weight of responsibility was heavy, yet the promise of reward made it bearable. Half of it I have to save. The other half I have to raise my baby. The baby was not a child, but her ambition, her future, her escape from their impoverished reality. Oh my God, I'm so happy. The words were a prayer, a desperate plea to the universe to validate her reckless hope. A rustle from the next room. Her mother stirred, slowly waking from a deep slumber. Why did I sleep so long today? Mom, Mom. Hang called out, her voice laced with a newfound excitement. What? Oh, baby? Why did I sleep so long? The mother's voice was groggy, but a smile soon spread across her face. I couldn't sleep yesterday, so I just slept now. I just had a really good dream, my baby. Her eyes sparkled with an almost childish glee. Really? What did I dream about? Hang leaned in, her own heart pounding with anticipation. I dreamed that I was holding a pile of money like this. So happy. I was having a good dream. So happy, my baby. The mother gesticulated with her hands, illustrating the imagined height of the money pile. It was a potent symbol, a vision of abundance that contrasted sharply with their daily struggle. So today I'm sure to win big again. What a beautiful dream, my baby. Hang's voice was filled with conviction, her belief in omens unwavering. I had a really good dream yesterday, my baby. I've never had a dream like this, a pile of money. When I finished, Mom was still counting, then I called Mom to wake her up. So today, you won big, right Mom? The mother nodded vigorously, her face alight with an almost religious certainty. That must be it. Last time, Mom had the same dream. I invested last time. That night, I also dreamed of getting a pile of money. And this time, investing this much, I must have gotten a big pile. I must be rich. I must be rich. The words were a mantra, a fervent wish spoken into existence. I think so too. So happy. Mom dreamed that she was counting all the 500K bills, a pile as high as this. So happy. So happy. If I got that much, it would be so happy. The 500,000 VND note, the highest denomination in Vietnam, represented unimaginable wealth, a gateway to a life free from worry. In a country where the average monthly income in rural areas might barely exceed a few million VND, the thought of such a pile was intoxicating. Now Mom invested 500 million. It must be a lot. I invested a little less. Oh, really? But it must be enough to live on. Hang tried to temper her mother's exuberance, but the joy was infectious. With that much, we'll be rich. That's great. Tomorrow, when I have a lot of money, my son will definitely come back, right? When he sees that pile of money, he has to come home. He doesn't have to go to work. Just stay at home and count money comfortably. The mother's thoughts immediately turned to her absent son, her eldest, who had left the village with a woman they considered mute and unworthy. The dream of wealth wasn't just about personal comfort, it was about family reunion, about reclaiming a lost son, about restoring honor and prestige. It was a deeply ingrained cultural value that prosperity should lead to family unity and an easier life for loved ones. He even uses money as a pillow. So happy. That's great. I really like it. My mother and I are rich this time. Hang echoed her mother's sentiment, though perhaps with a touch more pragmatism. The mother continued her lament about her son. My son is really stupid. My son just followed that mute girl to live in the forest. Knowing that I have so much money, why don't I come back here to enjoy it? Her words were harsh, yet tinged with a deep maternal pain and longing. She saw his departure as a rejection of their family, a foolish decision driven by a woman she disapproved of. Yes. But tomorrow I will probably come back. Now I just follow this mute girl. I went to borrow money to do artificial insemination, but it didn't work out. Now I have a lot of debt here. I will probably come back to borrow money from you to pay off the debt. I'm not sure he lacks money. He didn't follow that mute girl. The mute girl doesn't have any money. The mother's narrative of her son was complex, weaving together resentment, pity, and a belief that he would inevitably return, drawn by the magnet of wealth. The mention of artificial insemination revealed a deeper layer of the son's struggles and the mute girl's barrenness, which in their traditional society, could be a source of great shame and pressure. Now I have a lot of debt, so tomorrow he will come back to me and probably take my money to pay off the debt. Then I told him to stay with me and help each other take care of Long. Long was the unseen grandchild, another anchor in the mother's desire for family cohesion. Surely if I have money, my son will still come back. He will have to come back anyway. I have a lot of money. I really like it. I like it. Yes. But today I have such a beautiful dream. The dream was not just a dream, it was a prophecy, a divine affirmation of their impending fortune. This belief, rooted in folklore and personal conviction, provided a powerful, almost intoxicating sense of certainty. What should I find to eat to wait for good news? That's right. How great. Oh my gosh, so great. But what can I find to eat now? I can't catch chickens now. Is there anything to eat? I forgot to catch them first. Is there nothing to eat now? I can't catch them now. So I can't catch chickens now. The simple, practical needs of daily life briefly intersected with their grand aspirations. The chickens, their own livestock, were too difficult to catch in the moment, a minor inconvenience compared to the looming fortune. The mother's mind flitted from grand visions of wealth to the immediate question of their celebratory meal. So how many tens of thousands did Mom invest last time? Million. Do you have much left now? Hang prompted, seeking to confirm the scale of their current gamble. The mother sighed, her voice a little weaker now. I've invested all that money, I only have a little left. I only have 1 to 2 million. The revelation hung in the air, a stark reminder of their vulnerability. Almost everything they had, including the house, had been poured into this single, audacious investment. Yes. Is that enough to buy a drinking party today? Probably enough. We've eaten a little already. We haven't eaten much, son. Let's go buy some, right? Let's go buy some. That's right. Now we can't catch chickens, so we don't have any vegetables to eat, so let's buy some. Yes, then let's go. The decision was made. They would go to the market, to splurge, to celebrate in anticipation of the riches to come. This was a significant departure from their usual frugality, a splurge justified by the dream of imminent prosperity. It was a physical manifestation of their certainty, a down payment on their future joy. It's raining, son. It's raining, but let's go buy food first, okay? Buy food freely, then come home and wait. Buy a lot of food and wait for the money to come back, okay? Wait for the good news. The rain, a symbol of nature's indifference, could not dampen their spirits. They envisioned a feast, a spread of food purchased without restraint, a stark contrast to their usual measured consumption. Son, close the gate, okay? Your son's chickens are full, but you couldn't catch them yesterday, and you can't catch them now. There are chickens here, but you can't catch them to eat. The chickens, symbols of their tangible, humble wealth, were momentarily forgotten in the rush towards an imagined, greater fortune. The gate clicked shut, sealing them off from the grounded reality of their farm, ushering them into the hopeful fantasy of instant riches. If you get a lot this time, I'll save some of it and buy a house or a car. This time, I have this much. Now that I'm old, I can't spend it all, son. Also save a part, then take a part to build a villa to live in, then give it to the children and buy a car. The mother, her mind already navigating the complexities of immense wealth, planned for both present enjoyment and future legacy. A villa, a car, these were status symbols, markers of success that would elevate their family in the village. This desire to provide for her children, to ensure their comfort, underscored the deep-seated maternal instinct driving her gamble. Should we go into this house to buy it? Hang asked, pointing to a small, unassuming shop. The rain intensified, blurring the edges of the world outside, but their excitement remained undimmed. Are you at home? Yes. Hello, Grandma. They entered the shop, a small, cluttered space filled with the smells of dried goods and fresh produce. A young child, the shopkeeper's grandchild, greeted them. Where are your parents? Your parents are at work. Are they at work? Do you have any meat to sell? Do you have chicken thighs? Do you have chicken thighs? Yes. Let's see. Come here, baby. Come in and see. Then I'll bring them out to weigh. The chicken thighs are so big. The mother, usually cautious, now embraced the indulgence, choosing the best, the biggest. There was an air of casual opulence in her choices, a prelude to the life she believed was just hours away. In a village where meat was often a luxury, the purchase of chicken thighs was a significant act of celebration. Is this bag enough to eat? This bag has one more thigh than each person. There are 2 thighs here. Then poo. Tee this bag away, you take this bag. Looking at this thigh, I want to eat it right away. It's so delicious, baby. Let's take it home to eat. Go over there and let me weigh it to calculate the price. How much is 1 kilo? 1.5 kilos. The mother's anticipation was palpable. Her appetite whetted by the prospect of a rich meal and even richer fortune. Hang watched her mother, a mix of apprehension and shared excitement in her eyes. The dream was seductive, promising a better life for both of them, An end to their daily grind. Mom. How much is it? If we eat this meat, we have to have fruit, right? Buy it. Here's the fruit. But let's calculate the price of the chicken thighs. How much is it? 90,000 VND. Here's the money. 90,000 VND. Yes. Here's the fruit, Grandma. How much is this fruit? 20,000 VND. One fruit. 20,000 VND? Yes. Let me see. Which one? Mom, I want to eat more chips. The children's desires, usually met with careful consideration, were now indulged without question. The mother, feeling magnanimous, waved her hand. Take whatever you want. Take it. Do you have a bag? Honey. Take whatever you want. Take some more instant noodles, I'll pay for them. Take the noodles. There. The small acts of generosity were a celebration, a taste of the unbound freedom that wealth would supposedly bring. How much is it in total? We have money now and we're rich. Eat freely, honey. That's it. How much is it? This one is 10,000 VND and this one is 40,000 VND, a total of 50,000 VND. The spending spree continued, their basket overflowing with provisions. For a family used to stretching every dong, this was extravagance. This was the joy they had envisioned, the immediate gratification of presumed success. Put it in here. There. Do you have a big bag? There, honey. Okay. Grandma, go home, honey. What are you selling? This one is 230,000 VND. Yes. The final tally was significant, a sum that represented many days of hard labor. But today, the money flowed freely, each note a sacrifice offered to the altar of their grand expectations. The rain had intensified, and the short walk home felt longer, the heavy bags of groceries weighing them down. Yet, a lightness remained in their spirits, a buzzing anticipation. As they reached their humble abode, still soaked from the rain, the sound of the phone cut through the quiet dampness. It was Hang's friend, the one who had facilitated the investment. Hang answered, a nervous tremor in her voice, but a hopeful smile still played on her lips. She listened, her expression slowly, horrifyingly, transforming. Her eyes widened, the color draining from her face. The phone slipped from her grasp, hitting the muddy ground with a dull thud. The mother, sensing the shift, rushed to her daughter's side. Hello? Yeah. What? What did you say? What? Our investment is all gone. What's gone, my child? What's that? Uncle. My investment is all gone, my child. Her initial words were a confused echo, a desperate refusal to understand. Hang's voice was a choked sob. What's wrong with me? I said the investment is all gone. I didn't expect it to be all gone. What? How could it be lost? Say it again. What? My investment is all gone, ma'am. All gone, ma'am. The words hit the mother like a physical blow. The festive mood, the carefree spending, the grand dreams, all shattered in an instant. The blood rushed from her face, leaving her pale and breathless. What did you say? Oh no. I lost my money, my child. My child. All my money. Now I've lost my house, my child. Her voice rose to a wail, a primal cry of despair that echoed through the small house. The chicken thighs, the fruits, the chips, all lay forgotten, monuments to a vanished dream. Calm down, let me talk to my friend. My friend. Hang scrambled for the phone, her own terror momentarily eclipsed by her mother's complete collapse. What should I do now, my child? My friend, everything is gone, my friend. What? How could it be lost? All gone? Where will you get the money now? All the house is gone. Have you checked it carefully? Hang's voice was a desperate plea for reassurance, for a mistake, for anything but the crushing truth. Oh my friend, I checked and checked again. I checked several times. All our investment is gone, my friend. The finality in her friend's voice left no room for doubt. The investment, the promise of a better life, was a mirage. It had consumed their most valuable asset, their home, and left them with nothing but emptiness. Mom. My money. What should I do, Mom? Now all the money is gone. Hundreds of millions of my money. Oh my God, how can I get the money back? Okay, my friend. I'll hang up now. Mom. Mom, my money. Now where can I get the money? Mom, I lost all my money. Now the house is gone. The mother's grief was overwhelming, her body shaking uncontrollably. The 500 million VND, an astronomical sum for them, was gone. The house, their ancestral home, the very ground beneath their feet, was gone. It wasn't just money, it was security, legacy, identity. In their village, land was everything. To lose it was to lose face, to lose standing, to lose their very roots. I told you to invest and sell the house. I didn't know anything. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to lose everything like this. I told you to invest, so you sold the house and now you have no home. Calm down. Mom, Mom, Mom. Hank tried to soothe her mother, but the words were a harsh accusation, a bitter reminder of her own role in this disaster. The mother, however, was beyond reason. You lost your house, how can you calm down? I don't believe it will really be lost. Let me call you back and see. Let me call you back and see. Now you've lost your house, your son will chase you away. The fear of her son's condemnation, of his anger at the loss of his inheritance, was a fresh torment. The cultural expectation of preserving family assets was deeply ingrained, and she had failed spectacularly. Call me back and see. See if it's like that. If I lost the house, I wouldn't be able to live now. Honey, call me back and see. Call me quickly and see. Mom, calm down so I can call. Call me quickly and see. Hank fumbled for the phone, her hands trembling. She knew the reality, but her mother's desperation forced her to try. Now I've lost my house, I don't have a home. If I don't get the money, I don't have a home. The line is busy, Mom. What should I do? I'll call me back and see. Honey, keep calling me back and see. The line is always busy, Mom. What should I do? Call me back and see. Mom, let me call you back. I keep calling but it keeps saying the line is busy as if it's rejecting my call. It doesn't pick up my call. Mom lost the house, now I'm dead. The repeated busy signal was not just a technical issue, it was a chilling confirmation of betrayal, a door slammed shut on their last hope. The friend had vanished, taking their life savings with him. Honey, call me back and see. Call me quickly. The subscriber you just called is temporarily unavailable. The line is turned off. What should I do, baby? What should I do, baby? Call me back and see. Is it possible that your friend tricked you? Hank's voice was now laced with suspicion, a dawning horror. No, probably not. The other day, Mom won. She got money. It's probably not true. Let me call again. Let me call again. The mother clung to the memory of a past, smaller win, a false promise that had lured them into this trap. She couldn't believe her trusted friend would betray her. Such schemes often exploit initial small payouts to build trust before orchestrating a massive, devastating loss. Mom, I lost all my house. This time, I lost all my house. The customer who just called couldn't be reached. It's all gone. My friend lied to me. Mom has run out of money and no house. What should I do now? My money. Mom told me to invest a little, but I told her to invest a lot. I invested a lot, And now mom sold the whole home. Used to invest in this. Where will mom get a house now? How would I know? It was fine for me to invest before, and it was fine for mom. But this time it's like that. How would I know? Mom told me to invest a little, but I told her to sell the house. Where will mom get a house now? I've lost everything. Here. Last time we invested successfully, who knows where it all went this time. Now mom doesn't have a house. The mother's lament was a torrent of self-recrimination and blame directed at Hang. The weight of her own foolishness, amplified by Hang's persuasive words, crushed her. The house was not just a structure, it was the anchor of their existence, a symbol of their place in the world. Without it, they were adrift, landless. Now my son is back, what should I do? It's because of you. Because you told mom to sell the house, then mom sold it. What to do now? My son, what to do? You should research how to do it. Do it. What do you know? All your money is gone. What to do now, my child? Mom, calm down. Calm down for what? Mom has lost the house. The mother's pain was raw, unfiltered. Her son, the prodigal, would return to an empty home, a betrayed inheritance. This was the ultimate shame. Hang, despite her own despair, tried to regain some composure. Now I will check again to see how it is. Let me contact my friend to see how it is, because I don't believe this is true either. I have to check to see how it is. If the house is really lost, where will mom get a place to live? Now mom doesn't have a place to live. Or maybe I won too much money and he tricked me again. Hang's mind desperately searched for an alternative explanation, a glimmer of hope, however illogical. Are you kidding me? What are you kidding me? I called him but he didn't pick up. What to do now, my child? Mom, calm down so I can contact my friend again. Let me call again. I couldn't even get through just now. The subscriber you just called. Mom wasn't wrong. Now mom has lost the house and all her money. How can mom live now, my child? Okay mom, for now let's go home and see how I am. I'll go up and find my friend. Now I can't even get up. The mother's body had given up, her strength completely sapped by the shock. She collapsed onto the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. The bags of groceries, once symbols of abundance, now lay scattered, mocking their foolish dreams. I'm so weak, my child. I've lost all my house and money. But what about my bag? What else can I take? What else can I eat? Don't do that, if people hear it, they'll be embarrassed. I have no money or home anymore. Mom, don't yell anymore. I've lost all my money now, and my house too. Now I have to go find and get the money back for you. I've lost all my money and my house, my child. Now calm down so I can go home and find my friend to get it back for you. I've lost all my money and my house. Hang tried to reason with her, to silence her public display of despair, fearing the shame their neighbors would heap upon them. But the mother's anguish was too profound to be contained. Far away, in a secluded, forested area, Hang's brother and his wife, whom the mother derisively called the mute girl, toiled in their small vegetable patch. The rain, a gentle blessing here, nourished their crops. The vegetables are good and green now. Let's rest a bit. Let's put the fertilizer on the vegetables, okay? Are you tired, child? After we put the fertilizer on the vegetables, we'll cook rice to eat, okay? Their conversation was simple, focused on the immediate, tangible tasks of survival. This was a stark contrast to the speculative world their mother had just inhabited. Their life was hard, but honest. Each green leaf, each plump vegetable, was a testament to their labor, not a gamble. Let me look for a torn bag to pour out? The wife asked, her voice soft and understated. Their movements were slow, deliberate, a quiet choreography of partnership. There was a peaceful dignity in their labor, a contentment that sprung from self-sufficiency. They weren't chasing dreams of quick riches, they were building their life, inch by painstaking inch, from the earth itself. They might be poor in money, but they were rich in self-respect and the unwavering commitment to their humble patch of land. I've lost all my strength, my child, I don't have any strength left. I'm so weak. Mom still doesn't believe it, baby. Mom still doesn't believe it. You don't believe it either. Mom doesn't have any strength.